I've got some NASA footage that looks mighty suspicious and some other fun clips to check out. Let's get into it.
Sometimes something a little different happens.
Whoops, I'll get it.
Ooh.
Sometimes.
So this clip is someone pushing former President George Bush through a NASA site. When you look behind, you see, what is that? And something green floating, almost looks like a studio green with studio blue. Oh, this is the finished product, and that's supposed to be the water. And speaking of which, here's someone doing a pretty poor job of editing a very similar shot. That's how water works.
Water works in balls. We all know water works in balls. That's obvious. But I did look this up, and I'm pretty sure that the Hebrew verb NASA means to deceive, or can mean to deceive. It means a couple other things too, but it also can mean to deceive. So they got a big Hollywood set too. We know that. It's pretty interesting. There's too many of these clips. This is just this touching the surface.
Steve,
there were very few.
Steve, you're in the shot, Steve.
Vibrations
Steve,
of any sort.
get out the shot.
Steve, there were very
Larry,
few,
we gotta fire Steve again.
Vibrations of any sort.
His crew attempted a spacewalk outside the station. Here's a live look at the astronauts.
Whoops.
Oh, there they are.
I don't believe. I don't think that's. Yeah. Wait.
Where's their spacesuit?
And did you know that in space, your head can disappear for a few seconds? Wow, how did he do that? That's amazing. I didn't know astronauts were also magicians. Oh my gosh, you guys, look how everything is floating. Look at that. Oh, except the water. Don't look at that. I don't know what this guy's holding, but it is super heavy. Look, he almost drops it in.
You got to ask yourself, though, honestly, what would be the proof that you would need to either know that we've landed on the moon or that we haven't landed on the moon? And that's your metric, I guess, because we haven't done it, and all we have to go by is some videos and some speculation. I mean, I've seen so many of those videos. I bet you I've seen, in that fast rate of clips like that, I bet you in my lifetime I've seen an hour-long combined of clips like that, of just bloopers that look too just off in some way. Some of them more obvious than others. And yeah, that stuff's just crazy. There's so much of that out there. I don't know what to think. Sometimes I think we have planets. Sometimes we live under a dome. I don't know what to think. Maybe this next one will help us decide.
Now, what I want you to pay attention to is the reflection of the rainbow over the water. Notice how the colors are inverted. So we know in our simple common sense that that's a reflection of the rainbow, so it automatically reverses the colors. Just like if you and I looked in the mirror, the left side of our face would be the right side of our face. Now that you understand that, look at the double rainbow. Look at the rainbow on the outside of the original rainbow. Notice how the colors are reversed, just like they were when you seen the rainbow over water. That's because the firmament is the glass prism showing the reflection of the original rainbow. That's why the colors are backwards. Now, as you can see here, I've made a rainbow of colors on a piece of paper. I'm showing you how the colors invert, how they reverse when I hold it in front of a mirror. Therefore, proving, just like you've seen over water, when those colors are reversed, that's the reflection of the rainbow in the firmament above.
Let's ask ChatGPT about that one. Let's see what ChatGPT. So this is another thing about this stuff, is that like these are things that you can look and you can observe, you can see. Does that happen? First of all, does that even happen, or is this just videos or whatever else? You know, because anything can be done with AI and all this stuff. And this is another reason about this kind of channel. I'm just speculating on a bunch of stuff. A lot of things make me curious, and this stuff is fun and just entertainment. So if it makes you think about some other things and go in another direction, or just make you ponder and go, huh, then I've done my job. But yeah, this stuff is just too weird. We were going to ask ChatGPT, Yo, ChatGPT, when there's a double rainbow, are those colors inverted? Like if they go, red, orange, yellow, green, violet, if they're, they switched in the other way, whatever, Roy G. Biff?
You got it. In a double rainbow, the second arc's like a mirror image of the first. The inner rainbow typically goes from red on the outer edge to violet on the inner edge, just like you'd expect, but the outer secondary rainbow's reversed. So it'll go from red on the inner edge to violet on the outer edge. It's like nature's color inversion.
How does that happen?
It all comes when light reflects inside raindrops. The primary rainbow happens because light enters a drop, reflects once inside, and exits. For the secondary rainbow, light reflects twice inside the raindrop before exiting. That extra reflection flips the order of the colors. So the second rainbow is both fainter and reversed.
Do they ever get flipped a third time?
A third reflection inside the drop can happen, but it gets super faint. If you ever saw a third rainbow, it would appear on the same side of the sky as the sun. The colors would be in the original order again, but it's so rare and faint that most of us never get to see it.
How many could you technically reflect in this raindrop? What's the limits of that, even if we couldn't see it?
In theory, you could have multiple reflections. There's no strict limit. Each reflection would produce another rainbow, but after the second or third, they become so incredibly dim and scattered that they're basically invisible to the human eye. So while you can technically have a theoretical chain of reflections, nature's light show fades out pretty fast.
Well, that's a pretty interesting response. I don't know. I can't really suss too much out from that one, but interesting.
According to this 1855 census, the data below, America already had 36,011 churches. And according to the census, I'm just reading the information. According to the census in 1855, it could hold all of the churches together 13.8 million people. I'm just the messenger, dude. I'm just reading. This is from Google. So this is what Google says. During that time when all those churches were there was 28.5 million people in America. And with all that information in mind, that means that nearly half the country could fit inside all of those churches. That would mean one church for every 790 peoples. But it doesn't stop there. By 1855, there was already 119 colleges, plus 44 theological schools, 16 law schools, and 37 medical schools. In 1850s America, there was 28 million people, over 36,000 churches, and 216 colleges. Did you picture that? I sure as hell didn't.
Dude, there's so many churches. And everything. And they were built so early. That's the thing that's really fascinating. But what this guy is saying is like, those are beautiful buildings. Remember, these are beautiful churches that we're talking about that were built back then. And there's so many that have been destroyed. Even in Appleton, Wisconsin, where I'm from, I went to the Historical Society not too long ago and checked out some images, and I saw on some old maps that there were some older churches, and asked the gentleman there about them, and he said, yeah, those were some beautiful churches. Probably something, honestly, like literally similar, not too far off to something like this. I'm sure that could be, because we have not quite to this level, but we have some beautiful buildings like this that have the same sort of details and principles and things going on with it too. But there's so many that have been destroyed, and to know that half of the population fit inside those, and at the time that they were built, that was just churches. We had, we had so many other buildings, and I don't know what they mean by fit in the church, but interesting nonetheless.
The famous Naka Cave in Thailand. The cave that is actually the buried snakes from the age of the mud fossils. Walking around the cave from the inside to the outside, you see the remains of these buried snakes.
Now, I've seen a lot of these stone things that look like animals and different stuff like that. But this snake one looks totally real. This one looks the most like a snake. The head looks like a snake. It's wrapped around. It totally looks like a snake, like a lot. There are some that look more obvious than others, and this one looks very much like a snake.
This realm was much larger then, and what we are told to dismiss as just rocks are anything but. They were the larger inhabitants of this realm. We are living in a world of lies and illusions perpetrated by the parasites that run everything today. They want you completely oblivious and unaware of this world's true history, the true beautiful history of this realm. They want us thinking we are nothing, spinning around on a rock in a vast sea of emptiness. To deny the existence of a divine creator, to deny your true existence. You matter, and we are here for a reason. You are far more powerful than you realize, with limitless capabilities. Why do you think they lie so much? Why do you think they perverse so much of our history? It is because those parasites truly do fear that power of us. People unaware of their true past, of their true existence in nature, are all that much easier to control. And I believe it was my purpose, my gift of this voice, to help those realize that. And I will continue to use this gift given to me to spread the word. And I'm telling you folks, once you see this world for what it truly is and reach for those gifts given to you, it is an amazing place. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
Dude, there's so much going on with that. But he's right, man. I think once again that we have school and we go to school because that's the first stories that we learn. It doesn't matter what stories they teach us. We didn't know any stories about anything else. And since everybody else has learned about it, and now they make you feel bad if you get the answers wrong, that they don't want you to get, if you get the answers wrong, the ones that they tell you are right or wrong, then you look like an idiot. And if you just question things, then you look stupid. Like, there's too many weird things, and it just gets weirder and weirder every day. Like, seriously, every day I come across some like new stuff that's just mind blowing. It's just, and some days I just feel like, no, it's obvious. It's totally obvious. And it's just nothing's imaginary. And then some days I'm like, man, stuff works in this really weird and magical way. And I don't get it. And it seems way beyond me. And my life hasn't gone in any which way that I thought it would ever be, and for better or for worse. But it's just interesting. It's real interesting. This next one's great. This is the era that we live in now. This is the era. This feels natural. Watch how natural this feels.
This is the Revolution Faraday beanie from Protected EMF Apparel. This isn't a normal beanie. This beanie is lined with silver. It's antimicrobial, sweat resistant, odor resistant, and EMF proof. Comes in gray, white, and black. If you want to...
If you're anything like me, you're already like, this doesn't seem like a bad idea. Modern day tinfoil hat. Now it's just chill. Now we're just selling them. We're also advertising it as that tinfoil hat. Tinfoil hat. Buy a tinfoil hat. Dude, it's wild. I've got more clips about people in Faraday cages and different things like that say they feel different and they stop having all these other thoughts that aren't theirs. It's crazy. We're here. This is where we are. Oh man, but I'm right there with them. I would totally, I would consider buying that beanie, except I don't really know if you just put it right on your head. Does that really work? How does that really even work? I don't know why just a little piece of tinfoil once again would do it. But, you hear that so much where it starts to be like, dang, there's probably some truth to that. There's probably some real truth to that we got to look into and get ourselves one of these tinfoil beanies. Yeah, because if you made it this far, then, you've probably thought about it too at some point in your life. Well, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. And until next time, have a lovely day.